Let's go ahead and bring in Charles Payne, host of Making Money over on Fox Business.
Good morning. Good morning.
Nice to see you.
There's just so much. I just wanted to say that statement from the Harris White House or from Harris was really intriguing about President Trump almost bringing us to a recession. We were in a recession under President Trump, but it was because of COVID. Here's the thing, though. The actions that were taken led us to the shortest recession in history. This is a different type of recession that we're in the cusp of right now. This is not because of a once-in-a-century element that no one saw coming and had to lock down an entire global economy. This is because of policies that triggered 40-year high inflation that have now taken a massive toll on the economy. Now, here's what's happening. This jobs report, this was a referendum, really, the market reaction on Jay Powell. I would say 60% of what we're looking at right now is on Jay Powell. Comes at his
head of the Federal Reserve.
The Federal Reserve, their job was to quell inflation, and their job is to sort of unwind what they've done. They're really taking a deliberate steps to kind of back off on that. I think another 20% would be growth. Growth is slowing a lot faster than anyone thought or expected. Some did, I did, but the experts, did not.
Charles, can I just stop you there, because it seems like the economy has just catapulted itself to the top of the list. It had been there before, but really it just seems like it's prominent. And here's the difference: changes in wages and inflation since the Biden-Harris administration. Inflation's up more than 21%, right. And real wages are down about 2%.
That's real life stuff. That's real life stuff. I mean, and that's why. What they print and they talk about in terms of, hey, the GDP was this and that, it does not matter. The main focus here was all of the money that not only did Biden and Harris pump into the economy, that continue to gush in. And ironically, they brag about things like the Inflation Reduction Act. That's stoking inflation. They brag about all the money that they're giving the world's richest corporations to build factories here. Well, guess what? We gave $8.5 billion to Intel. You know what we got in return? They're going to get rid of 15,000 workers. Is that smart? Is that really brilliant? Is that what we should be doing with taxpayer money? Stoking inflation and losing jobs? It's nuts. What you're seeing right now in the stock market is what Americans have been feeling for the last 3 years. It's just a manifestation of it right now.
So how do you, every American private citizen out there, how do we brace for a pending recession rather than things getting better? Maybe they're going to get a whole lot worse.
You use the right word, brace. You have to brace for it, right? I mean, and here's what I'm concerned about. Unfortunately, the savings rate has come down dramatically. We're well under 4% right now. More recently, people have started to really scamp. Listen to what corporations are saying. Last week, we had Wayfair talk about the great financial crisis. We had Five Below saying disproportionately, they've never seen anything like this, where the weight of inflation has crushed their low-income customers, and they're seeing more upper-income households shop there. Again, a deep discount store. All you can do in this environment is brace for something like this.
Two things here is Kamala Harris. She hasn't done an interview yet. Hasn't held a press conference. We think we'll get a VP pick maybe within 12 hours, 24 hours. We'll see. But here she was in Atlanta last week on this economy.
Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency. And yes, it is true that by many indicators, our economy is the strongest in the world. But while inflation is down and wages are up, prices are still too high. You know it and I know it.
So who's going to give voice to this the best? Wall Street Journal, here we go. Ultimately, the core of this election is about economic issues. This is a Republican pollster by the name of David Winston. Every time you're not talking about that, you're missing an opportunity to engage independent voters. Independents always decide who wins elections. When our poll came out last week in Michigan, Trump led over Harris by 8 points on independents. I don't know if it stays that way or if it goes higher. I'm not sure.
Well, the jobs report tells you it's going to stay that way, because real life, what people are enduring, no matter what this administration says, it's tough. It really is tough. And by the way, two other things I got to point out.
Please.
Geopolitical issues are really becoming very frightening. You saw all those planes out of Russia into Iran over the weekend. Those are the type of planes that carry military hardware. Of course, we moved in a battleship, and we're moving in another fighter squadron. And
can you even imagine how much U.S. defending Israel against a regional war and a war with Iran is going to cost?
And the implications in terms of anxiety and fear, and these things bubble up, they get bigger, they become larger. You go from a small regional thing. It has been totally mismanaged. There's no foreign policy. The only thing we've heard so far in the last 3 or 4 weeks from the White House is finger wagging at Israel. That's not foreign policy, right? And I think it's encouraged Iran and some of the bad actors. And also the stock market was reflecting a Trump victory, particularly small cap stocks, because they're domestic companies. They have come down dramatically since Harris has gone up in the poll. They have crashed.
Charles, thank you. We'll see you at 2 o'clock in Fox Business. All right.
Thanks.
I'm going to lean on you all week long.
All right, I'm here.
All right. This from last hour. Check it out. Michael Waltz.
This is just maddening how bad this White House has managed this situation, and neither are fit to be commander-in-chief.
So that was Michael Waltz, Republican out of Florida. Now another big test looming. The Biden administration not taking any chances ahead of an imminent Iranian attack on Israel. Getting ready for every possibility. Warnings that Tehran and its proxies will soon target the Jewish state. Mark Meredith from the White House now. North Lawn, big meeting, Situation Room 215. Mark, hello.
Bill, good morning to you. The president will be back at the White House this afternoon to convene the meeting you were just talking about with his national security team. The vice president is expected to attend, but the administration says it's already been taking steps to try to do more to protect Americans and U.S. allies in the region. Since these fears have bubbled up about this escalation, we know that the Pentagon has been deploying more resources, including ballistic missile defense cruisers to the region, also moving an additional fighter jet squadron. Officials even admit it's possible more resources may have to go out there. As fears grow, this could become a much bigger problem.
Look, when the Supreme Leader says he's going to avenge, we have to take that seriously. Now, I don't know what they're going to do or when they're going to do it, but we got to make darn sure that we're ready and that we have the capabilities in the region to be able to help Israel defend itself and, quite frankly, defend our own people, our own facilities, our own national security interests.
President Biden spoke with Israel's prime minister on Thursday. We don't know when another call may occur. Within the hour, the president is expected to pick up the phone to speak with the King of Jordan. We'll likely get a readout of the call a little bit later on today. Just yesterday, Jordan's foreign minister was in Iran for a rare visit. Any action from Iran could have a sweeping impact on the presidential race. Now, one high-profile Democratic Congressman, Ro Khanna out of California, is posting that he wants these candidates to do more to ensure there is not a war. Khanna posting, "The U.S. must not be dragged into a war with Iran. The Iraq War was the biggest American blunder of the 21st century. Every candidate running this cycle must be clear on where they stand on this." We don't expect to see an on-camera briefing from the White House today. It's certainly possible something could be added or officials could gaggle. But at this point, we are still waiting to see how they may respond, given they're waiting as well to see what Iran's going to do.
All right, Mark, be with you all day, okay? Mark Meredith from the North Lawn. Thank you, Mark.